Welcome back all. Here is the Crystal Beast deck that I promised in my previous video. The structure deck just came out, so looking at some of the cards, it looked really cool to play. I took this to my local going in blind, and hopefully I've optimized it a little bit better. I've changed the build a bit. So I'll try to explain kind of how it works as I go along, and I'll do a little combo section as well to try and show you what I'm attempting to do with this. Spoiler alert, it is not Conclave Control. We are going for a combo board because why not? But anyway, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Most of this should be fairly budget because majority of this deck is from the structure deck, but there are a few money cards in here to try and help consistency and survivability in this deck. I'll try and give you some alternative options whenever I get to those points. But starting off, the Crystal Beasts themselves, first of all, 3 Sapphire Pegasus. This is the best one. You're going to be resolving this multiple times in the turn because, old card, not once per turn. Speaking of old card, not once per turn, you also abuse the fact that Carbuncle is not a once per turn, so you summon a bunch of them from the spell and trap zone, not once per turn, because that's just how this card works. And then you do have to play all of the other names in order for this deck to function in one of the conditions you're trying to get to. So you have to play one each. Sucks whenever you draw them, but you can get around that sometimes. But you do have to play one of every single name. And you also play 2 Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon that comes in the structure deck. One, I guess, also works as well. You can cut this down to 1 because you're theoretically only resolving this once. But if this gets disrupted, or if your combo gets disrupted and you survive till the next turn, having the second one to be able to get your plays going again and hopefully get into an advantageous position, I feel like this just works. So you can technically get away with 1, but if you just get disrupted and you survive till the next turn and you don't have this as an option to go into, it just really sucks. And then 3 is just too many, so either 1 or 2 is correct. I'd recommend 2, just because that comes up. And the 1 Rainbow Dragon, some builds are playing 2 of this, because you can theoretically summon 2 of the Fusion Boss Monster. If you have another one of those, or if you just want to drop Rainbow Dragon on itself. I was originally playing 2 as well, because that's also how you trigger the quick play spell, which gets you a search and or summon, but they just don't do anything on their own, and that's a very specific 2-card combo that you're almost never going to open. Plus, Rainbow Dragon is searchable throughout the combo anyway, so if you get to that point, then you're just going to have an easier time resolving it that way. So you can play 2 if you want, but I just cut it down to 1 just for other options to increase consistency and the survivability of this deck. So I just recommend playing 1, but you can play 2 if you want, if you really want to. Moving on to the deck, the monster hand traps that I'm playing are 2 Ash, 2 Veiler, and 1 Nib. Spoiler alert, we are playing cross-out designators, so these are cross-out targets / stuff that can work against the opponents. I'm not playing 3 of any of those just because I had to make space for other options, as much as it sucked to cut some of those, but that's just how we have to go with it. Spells and traps. Crystal Bond, which is one of the cards that comes in this. This adds you a Crystal Beast and then sets a different Crystal Beast with a different name in the spell and trap zone. The main purpose of the combo this deck does is to get all 7 names in rotation. So this helps you to do that, as well as see a Sapphire Pegasus, which, you know, resolving that multiple times in the turn is just how you get rolling. Another mandatory 3 of is the new continuous spell, Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. This just does everything. This is the extra Crystal Beast normal summon, which is how you get another one of the names into rotation. This is how you either resolve Pegasus multiple times in a turn. You're generally resolving Pegasus like maybe 3 or 4 times, depending on your hand. Sometimes you have to normal summon Carbuncle with this as well to be able to get your combo going if you hard open Carbuncle. This is also the target a Crystal Beast you control, destroy it, and then search out a Crystal Spell or Trap. This is how you get to Crystal Beacon in the combo, which is how you summon 1 in the deck. This card just does everything, so seeing this card is mandatory in the combo, as well as Crystal Bond, which is why we've tried to increase consistency in this deck as much as we can. Rainbow Bridge, this generally gets you to Crystal Bond, but it can also get you to the quick play spell. Actually, I had to have this clarified for me because yes, it does indeed have Crystal in the name, so you can search it. I had to make sure that's how it worked because Rainbow Bridge is an old card, so I had to make sure that crystal didn't have to be the first word in the card text to be able to do that. But you can, in fact, search this with this, so you are all good to go there. This is the one you cannot activate unless you reveal an ultimate crystal monster in your hand, so you have to have Rainbow Dragon in your hand to be able to resolve this, which is why I'm only playing 2, just because it doesn't do anything on its own. But opening it is still good because you do search Rainbow Dragon in the combo if you are allowed to get your combo started. So it is nice to do that. And the one Crystal Beacon, this is mandatory for the combo. I consider playing 2 of this just because, yes, summon 1 from deck is very good, but you have to have 2 in the spell and trap zone to be able to do that, so it doesn't do anything on its own. You have to be set up with the combo in general, and it's searchable in the combo, and realistically, you're not resolving this more than once if you get rolling, so just playing 1 makes sense in the grand scheme of what you're doing. And that is all the Crystal Spell and Trap / the Rainbow Bridge. Other stuff you're playing, so everything else beforehand is all the budget stuff. Majority of that comes in the structure deck. Ash Blossom is a common in the structure deck. Valor and Nibiru have at least gotten a little cheaper with all the reprints they have, so you should be good to go with those. If not, you can pick a bunch of other hand traps. I'm just playing those ratios because I am playing Crossout Designator, which I do highly recommend in this deck because you are really vulnerable to disruption. But other than that, you can change your ratios based on what you need. These next few are some of the pricey options. I am playing 2 Prosperity. Maybe you should play 3 in this, but bricking on multiple copies of this, it's once per turn, so you really need every card in your hand that you can get. And this just ups the consistency enough to be able to see what you need to. This deck is decently consistent enough without it, but this just gives it that extra edge that it needs to be able to see the cards that you need. And then, as I was saying earlier, we're playing the 3 Crossout, and of course we're playing Call by the Grave as well because Disruption is not our friend. Crossout got a little bit better with the reprints, and technically Prosperity as well, but not really. If you need more budget options with these, you can probably up your ratios of some of the other crystal cards. You can play the 2 Rainbow Dragon if you want to be able to go into multiple of the boss monsters. You can play other hand traps if you want to be able to go that route as well. Just these aren't mandatory. These just help add consistency to the deck, as well as attempt to keep you safe from disruption. So if you need more budget options, just increase your ratios on some of the other stuff, or just play different hand traps or different attack options. You can play stuff like Monster Reborn can be a nice extender sometimes if you're able to get into that, or just whatever you feel like playing, basically. And the traps, I am playing 1 Conclave and 1 Miracle. You actually don't set these up in the big combo that this deck goes for, ironically enough. These are really just in here for if you get disrupted, but you also have a hand where you can search these out, and then you can maybe set up a rank 4. Like, there's a lot of hands where you just set up either Dweller or Baguska, and then you sit on one of these as well. For those of you who don't know what these do, this is the quick effects. Target a Crystal Beast card you control and 1 card on the field, and bounce them to the hand. So this is the quick effect target bounce, and then this is the counter trap by destroying a Crystal Beast card you control. You don't naturally set these up in the combo, but these are nice to fall back on if you get disrupted. So there's a nice to have. And the last 3 cards are just 3 Imperm, because Imperm's a good hand trap this format, and it's also a cross-out target. So that was good to have. If you can't get some of those should theoretically be cheaper as well, especially with the Cyber Structure deck. But up the ratios of other stuff in the deck that you feel like playing, or just seek out more budget options as well if you want to go with those. Just different hand traps that you want to play. That's just what I am personally going with, because I think that's what hurts the deck the most for the cross-out targets. If you're not running cross-out, then you just run other consistency stuff, or increase the ratio as well if you want to go with that. The side deck really doesn't matter. Choose whatever you want for your own. Choose whatever you want for cross-out targets if you're doing that, or just whatever your local is. I can go through mine really quickly, but again, just make of it what you will based on where you're playing and what your local looks like. I'm playing the other two Nibiru because I think Nibiru is a good hand trap right now, unless your opponent resolves Gigantic Sprite and you don't have an additional piece of disruption. There's nothing you can do about that for that matchup specifically, but otherwise I think Nib is a good hand trap. I am playing 3 Droll, number 1 as a cross-out target because Drolls just end your turn and there's nothing you can do about it. But 2, Droll is also a decent card, especially depending on whatever your local looks like. I know a lot of locals have Drytron, and that can hurt Drytron. It hurts certain hands in Tier Element and Splight as well, but that's really, really dependent. It's more so just as a cross-out target, but again, make of the side deck what you will. Dark Ruler, I still feel like, is mandatory because, yes, Splight got hit, but they still put up really annoying boards. Tier Element puts up annoying boards, and you have to fight through it. For back row, 1 Feather Duster and 3 Evenly. I decided to go with Evenly over other cards like Lightning Storm because, number 1, Konami is funny and decided to leave Anti-Spell alone. And number 2, Konami was also funny and decided to unban Spellbook of Judgment. So I do not want Jowgen dropped on me as well as a Secret Village and me not be able to deal with that. So I would like my day to not be ruined and my disappointment to be immeasurable in that sense. And the last 3 cards, I'm just running Ice Dragon's Prison because I think it's a nice card to have. Right now, you can hit Tier Elements in the grave as well as one of them on the field. Splites, you can hit multiples of theirs as well. And just in general, just steal something out of the grave that your opponent needs and then maybe banish something. I mean, that's really good to have. So this is just what I'm going with. Again, make of your side deck what you will, whatever your local or your event that you're going to looks like. And again, it's Crystal Beast, so like, you know, this a lot of room to work with there. Extra deck, you have the 2 fusions that come in the structure deck, Rainbow Overdragon and Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive. This is the main one you're trying to get to and why you are required to play 7 different names. So this one's easy. You just have this to get into this easier. So with this one, you summon this by contact fusing away Rainbow Dragon, which is why you have to get all 7 names in rotation. You do that under Cross Sheep's Arrow. Spoiler alert, we're playing Cross Sheep. You summon this under Cross Sheep's Arrow, and that's one of the times that you summon Carbuncle back and abuse the fact that Carbuncle is not once per turn. So then you get into this. So what is this? Well, first of all, its summoning condition is you have to summon it the turn that an Ultimate Crystal Beast monster was summoned. Oh no, how terrible. Anyway. So you banish 1 Ultimate Crystal monster, so either this or Rainbow Dragon, and then 7 Crystal Beast monsters. They don't have to be different names, but here is why you want it to be 7 different names. This card says if you have 7 Crystal Beast monsters that are banished with different names, this card gains 7,000 attack points. So if you do that, this card comes out as an 11k beat stick, which is really, really funny, which is why you want to do that. And of course, the other reason you play this card is the fact that this is a quick effect, tribute it for cost, shuffle everything on the field back into the deck. That is very, very funny, and it is a really good end board. It's hilarious whenever you get to do that. And then whenever you resolve that effect as well, you also summon back 5 of your banished Crystal Beast monsters, so you just get a bunch of bodies to play with next turn, which is incredibly funny. That's also why people sometimes play 2 of this, because since you summon back 5 Crystal Beasts, you theoretically should have like 2 Sapphire Pegasus and then 1 Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon left in your deck, so you can theoretically summon another one because you also have the Rainbow Dragon to banish off of this. If you banished this to summon this as well, you'll still have Rainbow Dragon left to summon a second one. You're realistically not getting to the point where you summon a second one, so I don't really recommend playing 2 of this, but you can if you want to, if you don't have the space to work with other stuff. Majority of this extra deck is just toolbox. There are a couple things that are required, but majority is just toolbox, so I'll get into that. One that is required is Dugariz, because there are some times in the combo where you have to use Dugariz to summon back Pegasus again to resolve it, to get another name in rotation, or summon back Carbuncle to resolve its effect as well. So Dugariz is mandatory, but for some of your other plays, Baguska Dweller is what you get into sometimes. The main combo board does have you end on Dweller as well as IP and some other stuff. So that's always nice to have, especially since Dweller is just a really, really good card. This format. Baguska's kind of toolbox as well. That's your fallback card for if you get stopped. And then some other toolbox things as well. I decided to go with Excite Tonight Zeus, because going second, you can Excite Tonight your opponent and then drop Zeus on them after you attack with it if that resolves. It's just toolbox. It just depends on if it comes up or not. But that is up to you. That is the stuff I'm playing for the Xyz in this deck. On to the links. Two of the other required cards that you must play are Cherubini and Cross Sheep. That is mandatory for the combo. Cherubini is how you get one of your last names in a rotation, because, again, during the combo, you have to get all 7 Crystal Beast names into rotation. That is how you do that. And a Cross Sheep is how you revive Carbuncle from the grave to resolve it again, because Carbuncle is not once per turn. IP is one of the things we have for the big combo board as well, so we are playing that. Toolbox stuff, Phoenix, Unicorn, Access Code. Unicorn is also an IP target for you to be able to go into. Appaloosa is one of the monsters that we end on for the combo board, and then Underworld Goddess is just an option for you to be able to do because you generally have a bunch of bodies on the board, so you can clear out unaffected stuff or just big problems in general. Also an IP target if you want to use it for that as well. That is the extra deck. I will now attempt my absolute best to show you a combo with this deck, so may God have mercy on my soul. Let me go ahead and shuffle this up on camera just so that you know I am giving you a genuine attempt, because if I draw a hand that is dead or has a complicated line, I want to show you that hopefully we can still attempt it, and I will leave dead attempts in here because I want to be genuine with you with this deck. I don't want to show you sculpted hands or just stuff that does not work out. So, what do we got? Sucks to open one of the names, but it is what it is. Rainbow Bridge is nice. Opening this is, you don't really want to. Cross outs, and another Rainbow Bridge. So, you can theoretically make this work. So you would you Rainbow Bridge for the Crystal Bond, and then you Crystal Bond. This searches you out a name and then places a different name in the spell and trap zone. So you search out Pegasus, and then you put the where is it? You put Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon in the spell and trap zone. Try and get my hand further down here and highlight what the spell and trap zones are looking like. You do this one first because if you get disrupted, you can if you get disrupted, then you can trigger this, and you can hopefully try and keep extending as far as you can. So normal Pegasus, and then you put one of your any of the 4s in the spell and trap zone. Don't do any of the 3s because you want to because you need to summon that off of Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon's effect. So this effect, if it's in the spell and trap zone, banish it, summon a Crystal Beast from your deck, but negate its effects, and then search out an ultimate crystal monster. So banish that. Summon out one of the 3s that is, the fact that we drew tortoises is kind of rough. Now that I see that, so we may actually have to summon one of the 4s in this particular instance. So go ahead and summon Tiger. Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, we can't even get into Cherubini. We'll see how far we get. Add Rainbow Dragon to your hand as well because it searches an ultimate crystal monster. And then this is nice because now we can Rainbow Bridge for the quick play spell, and that will eventually get you into the continuous spell, which you need to get to. So get the quick play spell. You activate the quick play spell. You have to reveal an ultimate crystal monster. So reveal Rainbow Dragon, and that searches out that can search out a Rainbow Bridge card. You can summon one from deck as well, but you really need to get this in rotation. So search this out. Activate this. Use its effect to destroy Pegasus. Send it to the spell and trap zone to search out a crystal card. This is where you get Crystal Beacon. Search that out. The hand is all down here. I'm trying to keep this all organized to the best of my ability. And activate Crystal Beacon. This is where you summon Carbuncle from the deck. Soon as I find it. Summon Carbuncle. Carbuncle effect, summon both of these back. And then trigger Pegasus again. Summon out another one of the names because we are trying our absolute damnedest to get into all the names. I think we are only missing, what is it? Yeah, we're only missing Amethyst Cat, so we just got to get into that one more time. So this is where it gets a little wonky. In this instance, you have to use your extra normal summon on Tortoise because this is how you get into. This is sadly how you get into the last name. So use these two for Cherubini. Cherubini effect, send Amethyst Cat to the grave because that is your last name. Congratulations, you now have all the names in rotation, so now you can get started. So now use, since these are all 4s, it doesn't really matter, use Cherubini in one of your 4s for Cross Sheep, because Cross Sheep is, I'm trying desperately to keep all of this on frame so you can see it, but anyway. Cross Sheep is how you're going to get Carbuncle back, so you need to, you don't really need to clear up as much room with this anymore, but I mean, you can also end on, we'll get to that when we come to it, because we're only summoning one here. So you have all 7 names in rotation, so you can summon Rainbow Dragon, contact fuse with Rainbow Dragon into Rainbow Over Dragon, do it in Cross Sheep zone. Cross Sheep effects. Summon back Carbuncle. Carbuncle effects, summon as many in the spell and trap zone as you can, so summon back Amber Mammoth. And then what do we have here? So we can't get into Dweller IP like we normally would be able to because our hand was just a little bit wonky, unfortunately. That is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So in this particular instance, just go for a 4-mat Oppo. You get a 4-mat Oppo instead of a 3-mat Oppo, but you don't also get an IP and a Dweller. So with these two, whatever the matchup looks like, go for either Dweller or IP. Generically, you want to go for IP if you don't know what your opponent's on, but if you know your opponent's on something that gets hurt with Dweller, go for that. Generally, you're able to go for both with a slightly better hand, but sometimes you just have to pick and choose. And then now you banish either Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Over Dragon. It really does not matter. And then 7 with different names. So, Mammoth, Tiger, Carbuncle, Pegasus, Eagle, Cat, Tortoise. This is your graveyard. Banish all 8 of those for Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive. So what do you have here? Ordinarily, you would also have an Abyss Dweller to be able to shut your opponent off the grave, but you have IP to tag into something if you need to. Honestly, with this board, I'd probably go with Dweller just for the format in general, but either IP or Dweller. Usually you have both. Quick effect, tag into quick effect, shuffle everything on the board back, and then summon back 5 Crystal Beasts. Generally a 3-mat Oppo if you have IP and Dweller, but in this case it is a 4-mat Oppo. And then whatever else you happen to have drawn, you have the Crossout Designator to protect your plays throughout this combo. If you still have it, then if you want, you can set it for the next turn. I'd probably just hold it, though, because if your opponent has, like, Imperm Veiler or Nib Veiler, Nib Imperm, then it can just help you out. It's not really going to do much on your opponent's turn anyway, so I would just hold this in your hand. But this is what you can end on, and generally you have a Dweller up on the board as well. But yeah, that's what we have tailored the deck to be able to do. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and beyond that, just have a good rest of the day.